Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm playing Legacy, and this is a brew challenge from subscriber Lewis. And Lewis wanted me to build a Cycle Storm deck in Legacy. And this was a pretty fun challenge to take on. Cycling is a strategy that is playable in Standard and in Historic, which is more of like a control sort of cycling deck where you just cycle over time and then you kill your opponent with multiple big Zenith flares. But I didn't think that resolving a 4-mana spell was where I wanted to be in Legacy. So I took inspiration from another Eternal format in Pauper, where Cycle Storm is also a deck there. So what this deck does is it cycles cards, basically, and cycling these cards both digs you into the deck deeper, and it fills your graveyard with creatures. And then you get to play Songs of the Damned to make a lot of mana, and then that keeps you cycling. That's how the Pauper deck works. The Legacy deck, you get Fluctuator, which cycling costs up to 2 less to activate. All of the cycling costs in this deck cost 2 or less, so once the Fluctuator's in play, you just get to shred through the deck. And the win condition is Unearth, targeting Drannith's Stinger, and then you sting your opponent 20 times. You just cycle 20 cards. And the way you keep the gas going is Reaping the Graves, which is the engine in the common, or the Pauper deck, is return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and this has Storm. So you cycle a few cards, cast a few rituals, get back all the cards you cycled with a Reaping the Graves, cycle them all again, get some more rituals, get another Reap, and then you pick them all up again. And it's pretty easy to shred through your deck here. The backup win conditions in this particular build that don't exist in Pauper because they're not commons are Vile Manifestation, which is, this was heralded as like the new Tarmogoyf, went off the Born of the Gods spoiler. Or not Born of the Gods, Hour of Devastation. The Hour of Devastation spoiler, that didn't happen. That's not where this card went. But it's a 0/4 that gets +1/+0 for each card recycling in your graveyard, so this thing can beat down pretty hard. And of course, it's a Legacy discard deck. It's Hollow One. So Hollow One and Vile Manifestation can win the game by beating down. And that's if your combo gets disrupted, if they kill your stingers or whatever. But this deck has a pretty high velocity. It has a pretty high power level considering it's made mostly of commons. And I'm excited to try it. The big problem with this deck is Graveyard Hate, because this stays a 0/4. If there's Rest in Peace in play, basically your plan is beating down with Hollow One, or if you're able to hardcast one of your stingers or healers off of Lotus Petal, which is not hoping for much, but obviously Rest in Peace knocks out Songs of the Damned, knocks out Reap, makes Cabal Ritual pretty bad, so that's pretty devastating. In the sideboard, this is the juke. Ominous Seas. Whenever you draw a card, put a Foreshadow counter on this, remove 8 counters, make an 8/8 Kraken. So if we are able to just cycle through the deck until we find an Ominous Sea, stick the sea, and then start cycling more, should be able to make some Krakens. Obviously, this is not great, but hopefully people won't board in their Red Blasts or their Disenchants against our deck. I guess with Fluctuator, they'll probably have their Disenchants, but they probably won't have their Red Blasts in. So Ominous Seas, hopefully we can juke them. And then, of course, there's a Chain of Vapor and Duress to try to sneak through just normal type of disruption, decks that don't have Graveyard Hate or whatever. So I'm going to do my best here. This list probably still needs some work. It was a tall order to port this into Legacy, but I tried, and I think we're going to have some fun. So let's go play these games. Right, we're on the play in round 1, and I'm going to keep basically any hand with a Fluctuator. There are not many lands in this deck. I think it's like 10 or 12. Yeah, there's 12 lands in the deck. And I am just going to fetch now to play around Stifle. Get my basic swamp and ship it. All right, there's Ponder. So let's see what they're pondering for. So the good news with Fluctuator is that this deck functions perfectly fine without Fluctuator. Like, you can just play the Pauper, like, normal combo, but Fluctuator sends it into Hyperdrive. Right, I'm gonna take this opportunity to fetch. I'll get another swamp. I don't want them to see blue mana if I don't have to show it to them. They'll probably counter this. I mean, they definitely should, if they can. Oh yeah, that's the respect we're looking for. So, slow and steady here. Depending on what else they're doing with this blue deck, they pitched a Narcomoeba. Oh no. This Cephalid Breakfast? What am I playing against right now? Yep, it is in fact Cephalid Breakfast. Well, we're probably about to get dumpstered by a faster combo deck. So I can Unearth Stinger, or I can just cycle Unearth. I think cycling Unearth. Alright, there's a Fluctuator. So if I resolve Fluctuator, I can cycle a bunch. Yeah, I don't need to Unearth now, but I don't expect to get another turn, is part of the problem. Cephalid Breakfast. Alright, if they're casting Noble Hierarch, that probably means they're not ready to go off. I don't have a whole lot of cycling to keep the party going here. Alright, let's go. A ritual would be pretty great. Oh yeah. We're doing it. Let's reap some graves. Alright, so Drana Stinger first. Hollow one. Imposing Saurus. Street Wraith is the one that you don't really want back right now because it doesn't really do anything you need it to. Alright, yep. Needed that second ritual. Now we have the next Reaping the Graves lined up. Alright, I'm gonna keep cycling because I really want to find a Stinger. And we can start actually winning this game. I'm gonna hold on to the Unearth for now, because that is my best way to get Stinger into play. So Storm is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get all my creatures back here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pick them up. Old Ancestral Recall, but twice. Double Ancestral Recall. Isn't it crazy that this deck is largely legal in Pauper? Ding, ding, ding. Unearth my Stinger. Now we're actually dealing damage. Try to keep this party going now. I'm going to hold on to the hollow ones until last. In case I do fizzle, I think putting 8 power into play is worth more than a random draw. Dark Ritual. So do I actually think that is true, There's one more Reaping the Graves in the deck. The Pauper list played 4, but I figured with Fluctuator I could get away with 3. And I'm going to keep cycling. That's what we're here to do. Alright, got another one. Cycle. Uh-oh, now's the choice. This is where we make the call. Keep cycling. Uh-oh. Alright, ran out of gas. Not a huge deal. Just pass the turn. I can beat down the rest of the way. I'm going to save all these in case I draw the other Reap. My opponent said yikes. Oh, their username is Wombo Combo, so I hope they respect what I'm up to here. Oh. I whiffed. And they got their combo in. Alright, so now it's my turn to F6. They pitched an Archemy, but a Force. They don't really need... they have 3 creatures in play, so it doesn't even matter. And Thassa's Oracle just makes everything so easy. They used to have to like do clever things, but now they can just cast Dread Return and get back Thassa's Oracle. Alright. Well, the good news is this deck won't be able to play Rest in Peace. They said they drew all 3 Narcomoebas, so I'll take that. Fatal Push breaks up their combo. Surgical Blaze here. Mindbreak Trap doesn't... I guess they would have to cast the Nomad... They don't have to cast them all at once, but that turn they would have gone Nomad, Cephalid, Dread Return. So there are Cabal Therapies in their deck, but I don't think Mindbreak Trap is the answer. Duress doesn't hit any of their combo pieces. It just protects mine. I don't think I want Duress. So, alright, what do you sideboard out in a deck like this? Because every card matters. Like, even the cards that don't matter because they have cycling. Maybe I shave Cabal Ritual, because that's the worst ritual. And I'm definitely keeping Hollow One, Vile Manifestation in case I need to beat down. I actually think Fluctuator is not a card we need 3 copies of, because you can like cycle to dig for the first one and the second one is irrelevant. Like the first one got the Force, the second one resolved last game, which was pretty good. But like I said, you don't really need it. Maybe Manifestation. Just because that costs 2 to cycle compared to the 1 of most of the other things here. Alright, this is what I'm doing. Sideboarding is tough. Keep. I have one of my only sideboard cards, and by one of my only, I mean my actual only. I think there's no reason to go now. So I can cycle 2 things in their end step. Alright, looking for land here. So I can just Songs and cast Vile Manifestation. Or I can Songs and reap back my Straight Wraiths. Yeah, do I want my Wraiths back, or do I want to cast Manifestation? I could also cycle Manifestation and unearth it. That's definitely better than casting it. I think I reap. See if they have the Mind Break, or the, what is the trap? Ravenous Trap. Luckily, my life total is not super important in this matchup. Got there. Whatever got there means with this land. I could cycle Dranith Healer, but there's no reason to do that right now. Yeah, let's hope that they're not playing around Disruption. So they're going to wish for whatever piece they don't have here. Dark Ritual. So I can Dark Ritual, Unearth Dranith Healer. I can Writ, cycle Manifestation. Then Unearth Manifestation. I guess I should have Unearthed Healer technically first. That would have gained 1 life and done the same thing. Pretty sure this costs 3 right now. Yep, alright. So I will pass the turn and hope that Surgical Extraction is enough to beat them. So I'm pretty confident that it won't be. But I do have a real clock in play now. They're on a 3-turn clock on board that I could probably turn into a 2-turn clock pretty quickly. Oh, there's so many colors in this deck. Oh god, you do this too. Oh yeah, because this gets the Shuko, which sets up the combo. That makes sense. That's what you get from playing Legacy for 14 years. You're just like, oh yeah, obviously Stoneforge Mystic gets Shuko. This is one of the combos, by the way. Shuko can equip infinitely to the creature that they want to kill with. The Cephalid. Right, so I think cycling this is better than just casting it. Right, Dark Ritual can get my Stinger back in, but I want to go to combat first because that will make my manifestation bigger. Absorb that damage. And then Dark Ritual. Do I need to Ritual? So 3, 4 mana. This costs 3, this costs 1. Yes, I do need to Ritual. Ooh, force pitching Uro. I kind of like getting forced there. Nothing wrong with that. Unearth my Stinger. Alright. I like that force leaving the game because that gives me surgical, or gives me better protection for surgical. Here's Illusionist. So always yield to that. They wouldn't have just spewed force if they didn't have another one, right? Like, that's not how this works. So they have 1 unknown card in hand. They have Shuko and some mystery cards. Right. Once I see the Thassa's Oracle, I'm going to fire off on it. Well, there's Dread Return. Maybe I just let them deck themselves first. Okay, now they're activating more of them in response. I still don't see a Cabal Therapy in the graveyard. there's another Narcomoeba. Oh, there's Cabal Therapy. If they therapy me, I can extract Dread Return in response. Oracle's not in the graveyard yet, is it? Nope. Let's get that out of there. Oh, they had Force, but no blue card. Alright, so get rid of Dread Return. There's an Oracle in the deck that they can still cast. Cavern of Souls and Thassa's Oracle are both still in their deck. Okay, that's gone. What a ridiculous matchup this is. Just Cephalid Breakfast versus Cycle Storm. Is there a second therapy? I don't really want to lose my hollow one. They're still going. They milled their Oracle. What do they know that I don't? Trying to figure out if I missed something. Okay. I did not miss something, it seems. Well, let's get them fluctuated. How deep can we go? I have the entire town of Draneth is here to help me. Boo. So I'm gonna bash with everything. They can trade off with Stinger if they want. That's not really the point anymore. Yeah, so they can redirect the next damage to Nomads in Core to Narcomoeba, and that saves the Nomads, and the Narcomoeba is gonna die anyway. Yep. Sweet play. Really cool mechanic from Tempest. Stronghold. Tempest block, Wrath Cycle. Okay, I mean, saw their deck, right? Like, I'm sure I missed something that is important. Like, there's a reason they're still playing the game. That's what I get for not screenshotting the deck. Do they have a Living Wish? Yeah. No, they cast all 3 Living Wishes. Or all 4. There's 1 in exile and 3 in the graveyard. Was there a second Oracle? Whatever it is, I mean, they're looking at their entire deck with this Ponder right now. I really need to pay more attention to face-up decks when I surgical. When I'm recording, I tend to just take the card I was looking for and call it. All right, Shuko on Narcomoeba. Is that the plan? Just attack me in the air? Racing my Vile Manifestation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're not winning this race. Ho. All right. To the sideboards. All right, now they know about surgical, which makes things a little worse for me. How can I make this better? Manifestation was actually pretty good that game. Do I want the Duresses? Even just to like clear the way of Force of Will? But I think now they know they need to save their Force of Will for what I'm doing. Or for to protect their combo instead of interrupting what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just gonna fire in the same 60. We got cyclers, we got a sideboard card. If they Cabal Therapy me, there's no way they're going to name Fatal Push. Uh-oh. Do they just have the turn 2? I'm going to hold on to Street Wraith. I guess there's a chance I cast Hollow One this turn, but not really. I'm just going to pass. Because if they Therapy me, I want them to commit to something before I start cycling, because then I can cycle for the answer afterwards. I haven't seen Wasteland out of this deck, so I'm going to get Underground Sea and Fatal Push this right now. If they have days or whatever, I'd rather spend this on a turn where I know they're not going to Cephalid me. And I want to do this before they resolve the Ponder because I don't want them to find protection. Doing it before the Ponder lets them know they need another Nomad, but doing it after the Ponder lets them protect the first one. And I'm saving my Street Wraith for my turn because it doesn't trigger Hollow One or reduce Hollow One on their turn. Speaking of Hollow One. All right, Hollow One's free now. And I have a Reap at the ready. So I can Songs for 3 mana, which is enough to Reap. Yeah, Songs gets 3, Reap gets all my things back. And all of these are redraws for... Oh, they're... Yeah, right. Storm was only 2. All this cycling is not actually casting spells. Alright. Ship it. Hollow One Beatdown. Ready to go. Alright, I do have to watch the Beatdown because I've cycled a lot of Street Wraiths this game. And it looks like I'm going to keep going. I should be fetching before I cycle. Like, I put fetch lands in the deck specifically to thin out my cycles. Song. Sing us a song. Right, Cabal Writ. I'm going to lead with that. It's a juicy target for days, and if they do have days, I'd love to get it out of their hand. Okay. No. You can pick up a land, that's fine. Yep. Uh-oh. They assemble a combo on me here. Alright, let's see if they respect Surgical Extraction. I've drawn a lot of cards. Oh, if they're going for it, then they're gonna get it because I don't have the Surgical. I guess my hope is that the Dread returns in their hand. Yeah, they named Surgical. It's not there. All right, you go ahead. Do your thing. All right, there's the Dread return. There's the Oracle. GG's. All right. Losing to a faster combo deck. I didn't put a whole lot of sideboard thought into beating combo decks, at least certainly not Cephalid Breakfast. Like, I have Mindbreak Trap and Duress, but neither of those is super great against exactly that. But that was pretty good. Like, the deck showed up all 3 games. I didn't just do nothing. I'm impressed. And I'm on the play again, and I have a turn 1 Fluctuator. This is a keep. I'm going to Ritual out Fluctuator and see where this goes. I'm sure my opponent is so relieved that I cast Fluctuator and not like any real card. Bummer. This costs 3, right? Yep. I'm not there yet. I could cycle this, try to keep it going, or just cast this. Let's just hope Hollow One can win the game on its own. I have Fluctuator in play, so any cycler I draw keeps the party going. A forest. So are they lands? Are they elves? Are they Maverick? My god, I hope they're Maverick. So if they are Maverick, Scavenging Ooze is a troublesome card. If they're elves, they're another potentially faster combo deck. I wish this Polluted Delta could fetch the Fetid Pools to my hand somehow. Alright, this doesn't answer whether they're elves or Maverick. Both of those decks make that play. We'll find out this turn what they're up to. If it's elves, nothing really changes about what I fetch. Like, I think I still want to just fetch basic swamps. If it's Maverick, I definitely need to fetch basic swamp because they're a wasteland deck. If it's elves, I might be just dead, though. I just had a thought of, can I string together multiple cycles off the same creature with one Reaping the Graves? And the answer is no, because when it goes on the stack, you need to target, and they're all on the stack before they resolve. That would be insane if it was like return a creature, not return target creature. Then you could just like cycle the same Street Wraith 1,000 times. All right, well, it looks like we're getting elfed. See how bad it's going to be. Ranger represents at least 1 extra mana this turn. Like if they bounce Forest, untap Dried Arbor, play a 1-drop, play Cradle, where you could be very, very dead. Yeah, so to actually win this game from this position, because I have no cyclers and no Reap, I basically need to cycle like 3 things into Reap. Like Reap is the only card advantage in the deck. Alright, I'm gonna F6, because they can do what they want. Just hope they play a Forest and not Cradle. And the Forest is also bad because they have 2 Elves and a Heritage Druid. So just the Forest can play a 1-drop and go off. But Cradle is just extra scary. Okay, so it looks like their chain is broken. They can bounce one of their... Oh, they can bounce the Quirion Ranger, untap Dried Arbor, replay Quirion Ranger, bounce the Forest again to untap Dried Arbor and get another elf into play. But they need another 1-drop elf to make that happen. But they do play a lot of them. Though I think if they had one, they would have cast it there. But they do get 2 more draws off of Glimpse before they really fizzle here. Looks like they're thinking hard about it. Yep, they found the line. If you want to see me play elves, I played it a couple weeks ago on the channel. The video's out there. I played a lot of elves for a number of years in the early 2010s. Probably like 2010 to 2014, 2015. I was pretty religious about elves. All right. Well, okay. Now they are officially done comboing. They can bounce their Quirion Ranger again, cast it 1 more time, draw 1 more card, but they're out of land drops. So they don't get to do the whole bounce your Forest for extra mana thing again, because they're out of Forest. They're just going to have to go to discard and dump 2 cards here. Even like bouncing Dried Arbor to untap one of the other creatures doesn't do anything. They just bricked on a 1-drop elf, which almost certainly would have killed me. So I'm gonna crack the polluted delta for another basic swamp and hope to draw just a creature with cycling. The ground is gummed up now too. If I attack, they can pick up the elf. They can block, pick up that elf to untap something else, and basically no damage is going to come through on the ground for the rest of this game. So let's string some cyclers together. That's my goal. I should probably have Plague Engineer in this deck, just in case. It's a black deck, put in Plague Engineer. It's a pretty safe rule. Oh, come on, deck. Alright, all dressed up with nowhere to go here. I play a lot more cyclers than I play rituals, but I did keep this hand. I chose to deploy Hollow One instead of cycling it, which, as I now know, would have been fine. So they kept all these in play. That probably means they have natural order. They just like cradle natural order here. Alright, no cradle. Another glimpse. Alright. From their 9-card hand, they should be able to figure this out. Alright, yeah, Nettle Sentinel will do it. So the Fatal Pushes come in, the Mindbreak Trap comes in, and I think that's all I really want to mess with, those 4 cards. I still think my combo is going to be good. Like, they might have ley lines, I guess, but probably not. I'm going to give them a chance to whiff or mess this up. I don't think they're likely to do either, but at the very least, we get to watch Elves go off. We get to showcase another cool Legacy combo deck. We got to see Cephalid Breakfast last round, and we've got Cycle Storm on my side. Now we've got Elves going off. So maybe I'll just showcase combo decks going off this league. Yeah, and they can bounce Quarian Ranger to untap Dryad Arbor, replay the Dryad Arbor, draw 2 cards now, have 3 untapped Elves. They're in double glimpse. Like, they're going to draw their whole deck this turn. With the 2 symbiotes in play, it's going to be pretty hard to brick on this one. So they've been doing elf things for a while now. They now have the mana to hardcast Craterhoof or Zenith for Craterhoof, and those are 6 hits, and they've drawn 31 of their 60 cards in their deck. So it would be pretty unbelievable if they didn't have access to those cards at this point. And even if they haven't hit, if they've somehow bricked on all 6 of those outs, they still have 15 other cards in their hand. Yeah, there's the hoof. Alright, they did it. Yeah, they had a turn 2 value glimpse that could have become lethal if they strung together the correct 1-drops. And then turn 3, they had glimpse into second glimpse into plenty of gas. And that's Elves for you. They were also in no danger at all of ever losing to this Hollow One. If I had known they were on Elves, I probably would have cycled the Hollow One instead of play it, because that's just not how you're going to win this game. Alright. So, Fatal Push comes in. I also like Mindbreak Trap. I don't like the rest of these cards. What if they have Leyline of the Void? Would they bring it in when they didn't actually see me combo or really do anything? They just saw me play Fluctuator and Hollow One. Would they actually bring that in? And if so, like, do I want to bring in the Chains of Vapor just in case, or like even one of them just as an out? Because I really, really have a hard time winning the game. I guess I can still sting them out, even if they have Leyline. I can still cycle until I hit a Fluctuator and a Drannith Stinger, and then burn them out. How many cycling cards are actually in the deck? So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Alright, so there's plenty of cycling cards in the deck to actually burn them out without use of the graveyard and reaping the graves. So I think I want to shave on the Cabal rituals. I hope I'm not just being results oriented and shaving out the card that I died with in my hand, but I think it's okay if I do that a little bit. How many rituals can I actually afford to shave? Because I do need some amount. I think I need to keep songs, at least until they show me Graveyard Hate. I think I can cut a Fluctuator again. And a Manifestation. Yeah, Manifestation's not going to connect. That's just not going to happen in this matchup. Like, you don't win this game on the ground against elves. Keep. So, my plan is to Polluted Delta pass, then I'll cycle Dranith Healer in the end step, see if I hit the land, and then I can Street Wraith seeing the land again, and even if I miss, I'm at least closer to deploying Hollow One, because I Wraithed on my own turn. If they brought in their Thoughtseizes, they could clip my Fluctuator here, which would be, kind of lame, but like I said, you can win without it. Maybe the deck wants one Badlands in it, just to cast Stinger more easily than relying on Lotus Petal. Nettle Sentinel's a little bit scary, because that card can facilitate a turn 2 win. Oh yeah. Let's go. Alright, let's see where this one goes. Hopefully I find an Unearth like, sooner than later. Fatal Push, I'm pretty happy to see that. So even if this turn whiffs, I can still pick off Nettle Sentinel. Oh, great. I cycled those in the wrong order and got punished for it. The punishment continues. Alright, Hollow One, get in there. Yeah, if I had cycled the Street Wraith first, I could have cast Stinger with the Lotus Petals and had a second threat in play. One that actually does go off with Fluctuator. But I am locked and loaded if I draw a Reaping the Graves. But I would never. Yeah, the deck, this like fail rate, or at least this like play fair rate that you sometimes hit, really doesn't stack up well against real legacy combo decks. Like, I think this would be kind of a fine space against like a blue control deck or a Delver, something like that. But when we're facing down real legacy combos, this looks a whole lot worse. Well, there's Glimpse with Heritage Druid and Nettle Sentinel both already in play. They only have 2 cards in their hand, but that could quickly become a lot more. Ranger doesn't generate more cards, and they have plenty of mana. So Wirewood Symbiote is actually card advantage. Green Sun Zenith Force Symbiote does the same thing. It all depends on how many elves were in their hand when they started this party. Maybe they'll just pass right now. 2 lands in hand, go. Alright, there's some card advantage. Now they're starting to pull ahead. If they can find a symbiote to go with this visionary, we are screwed, Zors. And I didn't hit a mind break trap off of all my cycling. I mean, I hit one of my fatal pushes, and I only boarded in 4 cards, so I'm not complaining. And there is not really a great place to mind break trap an Elves combo anyway. Like, you could hit one of their Crater Hoofs, but unless they're on a tight little combo turn, it's not going to matter. Moment of truth. Having played Elves a number of times, or many times, I know the feeling of just looking at 3 fetch lands after you do all this. My Fluctuator. That's good though. I mean, that means that they're about done with their combo. They wouldn't just spend 2 mana mid combo if they were planning on continuing. Or at least I wouldn't. I don't know their life. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they can bounce a forest, untap an elf, cast natural order, and it doesn't matter. Alright, that's not the case. So, Reaping the Graves still does the thing. Killing me, deck. Alright, so do I need more cyclers in the deck? Is that what the problem is? Is there too much enabling and not enough paying? I did sort of add Fluctuator to the Pauper engine, which gives you 3 more cards that are whiffs on the cycling. So that might be bad. I'd be willing to believe it. Uh-oh, white mana. My deepest enemy is white mana. Rest in Peace isn't super common in Elves, even if they do have the white splash. But that definitely closes the door. Though we know that at least one of the 2 cards in their hand is a real spell, or if it was a creature, they would have cast it last turn. Hopefully these Underground Seas are giving them pause. Oh, nope. Alright, so their last card in hand is a creature. Let's hope they just draw a land and pass, and the party's over. Like, it wouldn't make sense to try to bait a counter with that. I guess if your last card in hand is Natural Order, then it's pretty free to try to bait the counter spell. Oh, they have the Archon. Uh-oh. If they name instant, I'm pretty sure we literally can't win. Please say artifact. Yeah, they said artifact. Alright. That hits my Lotus Petals. That's bad. That messes up my Storm for Reaping the Graves. But there's a chance. Instant was the one that actually just ended the game. Alright, deck. Show it to me. Well, that would have won the game, or at least done some damage. Wow, that sucks. I'm so sad. Alright, so Songs of the Damned. Make a bunch of mana. Reap some graves. I think I want Healer and probably Stinger or Wraith. I guess it's probably Wraith. Yeah, this is so huge. Like, imagine if Storm was 4 and I had red mana. I think the game would be a joke from there. Instead, we suffer. Alright. Yep, we're dead. Yep, Arcana Valor's Reach. Turned out there wasn't... They couldn't go wrong if they named anything there. Alright, next round. On the play again. I'm gonna keep. Let's see if I can hit a Fluctuator or anything. Alright, didn't find it right away. It's like we're playing the slow version. Though it is interesting that I show them Street Wraith, which tells them I'm some sort of combo deck, because fair decks don't play this. I guess Death Shadow could. But there's no way they're going to guess what I'm doing based on that. Oh my god! The mirror, as far as they know. Alright, yeah. I'm not going to cycle in response to this because I don't want to accidentally cycle into Fluctuator and let them strip it. Let's hope they just take Dark Ritual and think that's important. I want to keep all my cyclers to keep the velocity going. Maybe I should just have Living Death in this deck. Wow. I think I blew it. Yeah, Living Death needed to be in this deck. Just like 1 or 2 copies. Just flip my graveyard into play. You can easily ritual into it. Alright, the technology is emerging. Jam my Stinger, I guess. And pinging them for 1 at a time isn't the most exciting thing to do against Death Shadow. But it's also not bad. Like, they have to mitigate their life spew. Oh, they snuffed me out, huh? I'm gonna get my ping in. Like, my plan is to ping them out. If this makes Death Shadow 1 point bigger, that's fine. So, Unearth is really important. This would be a bad turn to get Thought Seized. Unearthing Stinger, big deal. They did not shuffle. Alright, yeah, Wasteland's pretty good. I'm gonna Dark Ritual to play around Daze, and if they Daze my Ritual, that's fine. Unearth my Stinger. If they force this, I have another Unearth and it can still cycle. Let's go. Find me something else I can unearth. Perfect. Literally not perfect. Oh, wait. Oh, I had to spend that. I didn't have Fluctuator in play. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Deal. But another unearth for another Stinger. They're at 7. Their cards are getting worse. They're at 6. It's a Gurmag Angler? Oh, Drown in the Lock, sure. Oh yeah, keep that pressure up. They can daze me, but it's fine. It looks like the blue deck is gonna blue its way out of this. So sticking the Fluctuator could go a long way. Also, Hollow One is pretty close to a lethal threat right now. Gurmag Angler. Fluctuate. Have another Daze? Nope. Alright. I'm gonna hold on to Hollow One. Because I can't do anything. Like, even if I chain together like 3 cycles here, I don't have the mana to reap the graves or anything, so I might as well see if I draw something else and I can get Hollow One into play. Alright, now that I have mana open, I'm getting stifled. Alright, nope. Let's dig. They could stifle my cycle also and just leave me, you know, dead on board to a Gurmag Angler with 1 draw step. There aren't many cards they could have in their hand that aren't good. We know that one of them is Watery Grave, but the rest of it... Also, Drown in the Loch is insane against me. I'm just actively spewing into my graveyard. Ooh, Reap is solid. Maybe I'll see if they cast any spells on their turn and use their Storm to rebuy my creatures. Like, if they even, like, Ponder. Oh, yeah. Alright, so I have Storm as 1. I kind of hope they Thoughtseize me. They did not Thoughtseize me. Alright, I'm gonna Reap back... I guess Stinger and Hollow One. I should be able to get Hollow One into play at least. Jump for a turn. I really wish they had Thoughtseized me. There's 2 Unearths left in the deck, 3 Lotus Petals. Okay, can't pay that. Still get my Storm. But it's 1 instead of many. I actually want the Hollow One if we're only getting 1 back. Ooh, force that too. Aggressive. Alright. Don't even know what I'm drawing to. Ho 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 ho! Not cycling this thick boy. I just lose to a removal spell here, but this does trade with Gurmag Angler. 10-4, good buddy. There are 3. Taking your swing, shoot your shot. Yep. Vile Manifestation. Ooh, and pass the turn, no follow-up threat. Ooh. I am gonna... I think I want to sit on this. Does that make any sense at all? I mean, if they had a removal spell, they would have fired it off. No, I'm going to cast this. Do I want Stinger or Manifestation? I think Stinger... It's close. I'm going to get Stinger. They're at 3. So any cycler makes this a lethal attack, and this has the chance of still winning the game even if they jam a Giant Death Shadow here. Uh-oh. Cycle cards, cycle cards. 1 cycle card. Ugh. Oh. I don't think they have a flash threat that's going to get me here. Alright, they're at 1. I'm not going to play out my swamp. I want them to fear me. Oh no. Oh no, not like this. Them stabilized at 1. This polluted delta is not going to help them. So they don't get to shuffle the Ponder, like keep the best card shuffle. They did not shuffle the Ponder. Shadow. Alright, so I need to draw a card with cycling. I play a few of them. GG. Alright. Fair and square, grind them out. And so they're going to have some surgical extractions and stuff. I want Fatal Push in. This might be an Ominous Seas matchup. Though, what do I board out if I board all those in? Probably the Cabal Rituals go. Because that's a 2-mana card against the Daze deck. I don't have a lot of faith in that. One Fluctuator can go out. And I could still cycle Unearth even if they have Graveyard Hate. Manifestation was the key draw there, trading off with that Garmag Angler. And Street Wraith is great. Lotus Petal's great. Most of these cards are great. I think, do any of them cycle for 2 other than Unearth and Vile Manifestation? Yeah, the 2 cards that cycle for 2 instead of cycle for 1 are cards that I just want in the matchup. So I think that maybe the Vantasaur is the last one I'm going to chop. Just somehow try to play a fair game with this deck. I could bring in the Chain of Vapors also, which could reset a Garmag Angler or buy me time against a Shadow, but I think that's overboarding at that point. I see you. If nothing else, this league is going to make for some great screenshots. Oh no, my Ominous Seas. Let's see if they respect it. Like, are they actually going to take Ominous Seas from this hand, or do they take Stinger? It's got to be Seas. Like, none of these other cards really matter. This is the only one with unique text on it. Unless they had a plan to, like, Thoughtseize Surgical my Draenith Stinger right away, but then I'm glad I have Seas. This is so much fun. My Ritual. Okay. That's an interesting choice. I'm not sure it's the one I would have gone with, but it's your game to play. I guess Dark Ritual plays around Daze, so I should probably respect them having a Daze. They could shadow me right now. Yeah, if they have a fetch land, they can shadow. That Shadow is such a cool card. I'm glad that card exists, and I'm glad people finally figured out how to play with it. Like, the card existed for a long time before the modern deck showed up. Ooh. Immune to that for now. Maybe I should just always cycle Stinger first in case I find an Unearth. That might be a good rule. But if I find Lotus Petal, that's worse. Alright, I'll cycle Stinger now. Give myself a chance to draw Unearth. Okay, so I should be able to deploy some Hollow Boys next turn. I cycle. I think, yeah, in order to play the hollow ones, I would need to cycle into a 1-mana cycler anyway, so I should, yeah, I think I should just keep cycling. Like, finding the Unearth is pretty important. Right, it's Shadow time. So I am gonna cycle Vantasaur here. Well, they don't know about this Vantasaur. They know about Stinger, so I'll give them the information they already have. All right, that was a good draw. And okay, so now I can cast Ominous Seas and cycle 3 things and play 2 hollow ones. Ominous Seas also has cycling, by the way. They thought of everything. I'll always yield to that. Cycle. Cycle. Absolute madness. And I have the Unearth into 2 cyclings for Stinger next turn. I mean, they can waste me, and then I only have 1 cycle, but still pretty good. And attacking would be kind of reckless unless they can remove the hollow one, because they know I have explosive burst damage and Draenus Stinger. Alright, they're not impressed. And neither am I. Like, I could even chump with Stinger, cycle 2 things in response, and like ping them a bit while absorbing damage. If they have a second creature here, then they're just fine anyway. The second big creature. Like, Delver doesn't really help them here, but Gurmag Angler or a second Shadow would be pretty good. Oh no. Lost my Unearth. That was my plan. I will not be thwarted. I'm losing this mana anyway, so I should cycle with it. No regrets. Get back Stinger. And now let's clock them. This will make this a 10-10, so I have to chump with the Stinger. But if they attack... Yeah, if they had removal spell, I was in the Abyss and losing anyway, so this is fine. Oh, they have Drown in the Lock. Alright, I'm dead. Alright, next game. So I guess, does that make any sense? Like, I did not account for Ominous Seas there. So maybe I'm supposed to just turtle up, let my 8/8s win the game. But them at 7 versus them at 3. Nah, no. I'm okay with the line I took. Okay, does anything change here? In Chain of Vapor still does play against, especially Gurmag Angler. Nah, same deck. That Hymn to Turok was a beating, though. But I'm not going to bring in Duress to hope to get their Hymn to Turok. Oh, my first mulligan. My second mulligan. Alright, we got a keeper, finally. So I'm going to bottom hollow one. And probably Unearth. No, probably Stinger. Hollow one and Stinger. Because Stinger is more replaceable than Unearth. Unearth does something special. My opponent also mulled to 5. That's generous. But I lose to Wasteland here and they don't. So I'm going to try to find a basic before I make my land drop. Easy money. Guess I should fetch, just in case they have Stifle. It's not common, but like people do weird stuff. Maybe they'll cast Ponder instead of Thoughtseize this game. All right. That's how we do it. Avoided getting our Reap Thoughtseized. That card's real important. Oh. Seize them. If they daze this, I don't even care. Like, I'm up 2 lands on a Mull to 5. Yeah, go ahead. That's a distraction anyway. It's probably not even good. So they have Watery Grave in their hand. I could try to get them to cast some spells on their turn, and then I can use that to reap. But I think I would rather cycle now and get a bigger reap later. I want to reap as much as possible. There we go. So I can play around removal, or I can play around daze and removal, but then I play into discard spells. I'm gonna unearth it now. This is a pretty consistent win condition. Even if they Hymn to Tarok and take these last 2 cards, which would suck for the record, but it could be worse. Like, I do really want this Stinger in play. Because both of us are interested in lowering their life total. Alright, they shocked that in. They're not scared. We know they have another grave. So they could play a 3/3 Shadow right now if they shock in their other grave. If they Hymn to Tarok, I'll just attack them to 8 and hope to chain some cyclers together and close the game out. Alright, Hymn to Tarok doesn't cost blue mana. Drown in the Lock does. Brazen Borrower. Alright, that's basically the same. Lotus Petal. Ah! Shout it out, and it shall come. Out of gas there. This costs 3, only cycled 1 thing. Yep. Okay, so we've got a plan. Kind of. And if they had a better answer for that than Brazen Borrower, they would have used it. Whenever you cycle another card. Okay, so you do have to cycle to get the Stinger trigger. The Ikoria cards don't work the same as the Amonkhet cards. There was a bunch of Amonkhet cards that if you cycle or discard a card, you get their trigger. But this one specifically does cycle. Ooh, they wanna race. Which is how they win this game, so good call, opponent. I'm just gonna pass the turn. And hopefully they'll play a couple spells. They attack for 9, I go to 7. I can cycle Hollow One if they do nothing. If they like Ponder into Thoughtseize, I can reap 3 creatures back. Alright, so gotta string it together this turn. If it's gonna happen. Because they also have the Brazen Borrower. Alright, Hollow One. Let's string a bunch of cycles together. Alright, keep it going. I could also just kill them. That could happen. That's a good one. So, songs. I have 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. I can afford to cycle this first. In case I draw another ritual and can get another trigger off Reap. Yep, that's how we do it. Reap, get back. Wraith. I'm dead anyway, so Wraith does protect the most mana. And Hollow One can still be cast and block. But I don't think that's how I'm going to win the game, so I should get the cheapest cyclers. Yeah, I'm just going to get the ones I can cycle for the lowest mana investment. Go, go, go. If I find another Stinger, I can hardcast it also. Or another Reap. I mean, they need something. Oh, God. Oh, no, I can't cast this and Reap. 1, 2, 3. So I guess I should keep cycling. Because if I find another Street Wraith, I can go again. All right. Reap target Wraith. We have them for Xaxes if they have nothing. So, Mantisaur. I'm going to target Wraith again in case they counter one of them. And Dranith Healer. And now attack for 2. Are we in there? Or do they have the Fatal Push? I feel like they would have pushed me, 8 damage ago if they had push. Yes! We won the match. Fair and square. On to the next round. I finally lost a die roll, but I'm going to keep the hand. This is probably the worst hand I've kept. Oh, goblins. So we get to... Uh-oh. I was about to say we get to goldfish, but so do they. Oh, a blocker. Get wrecked. That rolls so hard. Ooh. Can goblins beat a 1/4? I'm not convinced. But I do need to get some cyclers going. I am ready to party. I just need people to show up. Vile. All right. Brick walled by the horned turtle. So goblins can destroy artifacts in the main deck usually, so I shouldn't be too excited about drawing Fluctuator. I really want to draw cyclers and just keep the velocity going. That's one of the better ones. Bummer. Definitely not attacking. Vile manifestation. The old black Tarmogoyf. They have certainly built up their board enough that it's starting to get scary. So do they have a Sting Scourger or some way to remove Vile Manifestation? No, they're just going to load up. Go wide. They don't need to beat this thing. Unearth. I mean, in this matchup, I'll take it. Or should I take it or should I cycle? That shrinks my manifestation. I'm actually going to cycle this. Just don't think I'm there yet. Alright, and I can sit on this Vantasaur. I don't think they're going to make an attack, but I can change the size of manifestation in response if they do. Like, I don't know what 4/4 they would play. They're just going to Ringleader here. I'm ready to reap some graves, though. That should definitely be a 4 of. I have misbuilt this deck quite a bit. But, I mean, it was a weird deck. Main deck Pyrokinesis. Glad they didn't have that in their hand, because I lose if they do. Munitions Expert. Alright, I lose to that too. I can't change the size of this thing's butt. Alright, so at the very least, they have Sling Gang Lieutenant and another Matron. Like, they could just... So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can just 7 me, like, deal 7, drain 7 on a whim. So it's going to be really hard to win in one turn. Yeah, we're dead. Alright, Plague Engineer once again would be good here in the sideboard. So Fatal Push comes in. Ominous Seize does not come in here. I think... Fluctuator is important. Yeah, I think this deck should be built with 2 Fluctuator for Reaping the Grave. Like, that just seems like a better way to build the deck. I'm gonna make a note of that. So 2 Fluctuator for a Reap. And a Living Death for style. Yeah, I do actually think Living Death is a great alternate payoff. Alright, what am I cutting? Probably Cabal Ritual. I cut a Fluctuator and Cabal Ritual for 2 pushes. I think that's fine. Unless I want to bring in Chain of Vapors just to make sure I don't get lackied. Okay. I'll bring in 1 extra Chain of Vapor. Because being on the play, I get at least 1 turn of cycling before a lackey can connect. Alright, that's a reasonable hand. Soft to Wasteland, but most of my hands, or some amount of my hands will be. So I think I'm going to just play the pools. If they want to spend their first turn wasting me, that's fine. But I can set up for a better second turn. If I had basic Swamp, I would have played it and cycled Vantasaur. Well, there's that. I'm ready this time. Super ready. There's no reason to cycle now. I will push now, though. And maybe I'm supposed to chain that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's just kill it. I can chain something later if chaining becomes a thing that I care about. That's a better thing to chain. Do they even want to waste? Alright, I guess they do. I guess if they think that they're going to take over with Aether Vial, which is where Chain of Vapor will shine. So get a basic Swamp. Cycle. If I hit a 1-mana cycler, I can cast a hollow one. I can also... Oh, okay. So I can Dark Ritual, Chain of Vapor, Reaping the Graves, get back Oh, I only have 2 creatures, so I don't even need a chain. I can just Dark Ritual. And reap these 2 back. And then I can cast my 2 hollow ones. I hollow 2. Unless they have surgical, then they got me. And by got me, I mean I don't get one of these 2 creatures. Or my hollow ones. Alright, so they aren't extracting my wraiths. That's too bad. That also means hollow ones cannot arrive this turn. I can't even cycle into other wraiths. Alright, I still get my Vantasaur. Unless they have another surgical, which I'm also fine with. Alright, that was a 2-for-1. I guess if I cycle into Lotus Petal, I can cast a hollow one right now. I'm gonna play to your outs. Nope. Always try to cast that, just to make sure. Right, so now we're gonna get into kind of a cat and mouse game around this Aether Vial. And if they port my fetid pools, or they did not port my fetid pools. Okay. Right, there's Lotus Petal. I think I should hold that. So if they Vial in Lackey, I'll bounce it. If they don't, I'll bounce Vial on their turn. If they had a 1-drop, they would have Vialed it in, and they'll need a land if they want to redeploy Vial and still port me. And they don't know about the Lotus Petal. I don't care about like Blood Moon, which is not a card that I think they're going to have against me. Alright, so now they want to hit that. I think I should cycle a hollow one. Alright, so I got to use some of my mana. I can cycle Unearth. In Dark Ritual, cycle Unearth, cast Hollow One. I think cycling Unearth is going to be better than playing it. That's a 1-drop. Alright, now I have a pretty serious creature in play. And I'm ahead of the Rajadon ports, but the Aether Vial's ticking back up. Yeah, that Surgical on my Street Wraith was actually a blowout. Instead of having 8 power in play and 2 more cards in my hand, I just didn't do any of that. Here they have the Trash Master. Goblin Settler, wow. What year is it? That is ancient technology. That just puts a Cycler in my graveyard for Vile Manifestation. Please and thank you. I'm not going to get Underground Sea. I have 1 Chain of Vapor in the deck that would care about that. Speaking of Vile Manifestation. In for more. I can't even count how high. How big is this thing? It's a 4/4. Alright, not bad. That number is smaller than I thought it would be. This has been a ritual heavy game, and they hit me with the Surgical, which is removed a Cycler from the graveyard. See if 4/4 Tribal can take down goblins. On 4 mana with a Rashadon Port and an Aether Vial. So they could like cast Sling Gang and Violin Munitions Expert to kill one of my creatures and be stable forever. I wish this was really a Storm deck so I could play Tendrils, but it's not. Alright, so they'll probably port me. What else are they doing with their mana? Alright, ported. Cool. I'll attack. I can cycle in combat if I need to grow my manifestation. Uh-oh. War Marshal. Okay. Yeah, they're just gonna absorb a bunch of damage here. That's fine. Card out of their hand. Okay. Alright. I was about to say they're letting... Oh, okay, they're keeping their critical mass of goblins in play. So Munitions Expert is still a live draw here. I'm going to cycle in case I hit my land drop. Oh yeah. Another manifestation. Old Black Tarmogoyf. Yeah, with the Reaping the Graves, I built my deck assuming any of my opponents would have Graveyard Hate, but so far none of them have. At least not in any meaningful way. So they could start bringing the Ruckus if they have a Haste Lord. Alright, so they have whatever they want. They could get Trash Master, which doesn't play this turn, it plays next turn. Alright, Sling Gang also just gums up the board infinitely. But I do have Ritual here, so I can play my manifestation even if they port me. Alright, cool. Now I don't have to waste my Ritual on that. They're probably... Uh-oh. Sheikmons. Oh no. Alright, so... they can pick off some of my creatures this turn if they choose to. Alright, so I take 2 here. Can they kill me next turn with the Sling Gang? So I take 2. They'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can do 12 and they attack. And so I have 1 blocker. If they attack with everything, they lose Bashik. If I fetch, they don't have to attack with everything. So I think I have to Ritual this out to save the 1 damage. Though I'm not winning this race anyway. I'll play that even though I can't, because if I get another turn, then I'll want to have my land drops available to me, but I'm pretty sure I've lost this game. The Pashik plus Sling Gang is just too much damage. Oh, land number 6. Do they also have Muxus on top of the Sling Gang? I kind of hope they do. I mean, we've already lost. We might as well lose in style. So they're attacking with these 2. They go to 12, and then they can zap me for 10 with what I can see. And if they have any goblin in their hand, I lose. Sacrifice a goblin. Yeah, and they can do it all at instant speed. Fatal Push. Still want to draw Fatal Push. That doesn't help. So I attack with everything. They ping me and I lose. I think I just have to pass here. Yeah, they have me checkmated with these 2 cards. I can't beat them both. Alright. You got me. That surgical extraction was the speed bump they needed. If all of this happened a turn earlier with twice as many hollow ones, they would have got run over. That was a close game. It didn't look like it at the end, but the pivotal turn that mattered was really close. I'm on the play with a handful of cycling cards I'm going to keep. I'm just going to Swamp Go on turn 1. Play against Ozymandias. That's Matt Fook. He's usually on Loam, but he does experiment. So, could be anything, but Loam would be a nice matchup because I feel like that's one that we could out-combo. So they are going to have main deck Bajuka Bogs. Alright, not Loam. Some blue deck instead. I think I just want to cast Manifestation. Let's beat down. The real Tarmogoyf. Like, I can get in with this thing for a lot next turn. So Brainstorm in response here. They could be trying to figure out if they have like a plow to answer this thing, or they could be digging for Force of Will because they know that their lightning bolts are not going to answer it. 4 is a lot of toughness. They could also just be a combo deck and we're going to get Tendrils out this turn. Alright, they're not that. So they could have Brazen Borrower, I guess. That would be the shittiest answer here. Because there's not red cards that kill an X4 at this phase of the game. They would have to 2 for 1. Oh, once again punished for doing that backwards. Like, the Cycle Stinger first in case you hit Unearth versus Cycle Stinger second in case you hit Lotus Petal is kind of a lame tension. In for 4. But I am the mayor of Brick City here. Alright. Another nothing. Reap the Graves. Ugh. Not super excited about a hollow one, but I can cast it. They probably should have cast it pre-combat. I'm going to cycle it. Let's push the damage that is currently available. If I find a Reap, we get to party. And maybe we could just, like, tempo smash. Take another 6. Not bad. This is what people thought this card was going to do off of the spoilers. Oh, we're playing against Sneak and Show? That's bad. I suddenly got less confident in this hand. Or in this game plan. So, time to draw Reap. It's always time to draw Reap. I really just need to play more of that card. There's not a Dark Ritual with cycling, is there? Wow, that card would be good. Maybe they'll spend a counterspell on Fluctuator, though I'm pretty sure they don't care about it. Well, the good news is, if they tap that Ancient Tomb, they're in easy Stinger range. Wow! Coast to coast. Black Tarmogoyf, too good. Alright, this is definitely a duress matchup. I don't think I want Chain of Vapor, because you can't target Emrakul, and targeting Grizzlebrand's kind of a joke. Yeah, I think I just need to duress and buy myself time to get through. Cabal Ritual and Fluctuator are the cuts again. Yeah, this deck is definitely misbuilt by at least a few numbers here. I keep saying that, but I mean, it's still true. Manifestation. Wow. Broken Legacy Staple. Vile Manifestation. So even though it did kind of coast to coast that game, I don't think... Actually, I think it might be better than Cabal Ritual. Let's just settle into this fair game, I guess. Ooh, funny story. Like, if I resolve a Fluctuator and then they show and tell and I put in Stinger, they could die. Like, if I just shred through my deck, hit 20 cards off Stinger. It's not great odds, but it does play. Alright, this hand has access to Stinger. I'm gonna keep it. I mean, the mana is obviously slow. I have the fetid pools, but you get to cycle a lot. That's the point of the whole deck. I don't think they would have brought in Blood Moon against me. If they got Show and Tell, I can put in Imposing Vantasaur. Do you think Emrakul would be threatened by an Imposing Vantasaur? Alright, yeah, Brainstorm's good. Right, lands. Kinda like a land. Cycle. Nice. I'll get the Swamp just in case they have Blood Moon, but I don't think they do. Cycle that. And gonna unearth my Stinger, I guess. Alright, I'm all set up to draw a Fluctuator and go off. And by draw a Fluctuator and go off, I mean get dumpstered by Show and Tell right now. Yup. Oh, they even had Omniscience. Maybe they'll brick. Show me the shuffle off this ponder. They chose to shuffle. Pass the turn. Pass the turn. You got nothing. Nothing, go. Come on. Okay. Oh my god. Alright, we haven't done anything yet. Come on, deck. Fluctuator. I'll take a Street Wraith. Always yield. Reaping the Graves. There are only 2 graves to reap here. Dark Ritual. I could cycle the Unearth. See if I find another creature. I think that makes some sense. Yeah, because finding another creature fuels the songs, increases the reap. Alright, I'm out of gas on that. Sing a song. Alright, reap those graves. Whoa. Okay, I get 3 copies, but I only have 2 targets. Got it. Lost track of Magic Online for a second there. Under 15 life, that's the danger zone. Alright, there was probably a better way to sequence this. But I guess I just have to hope they keep bricking. I mean, there's like a small chance that they just have Grizzlebrand and just wanted to see more of my deck because they could never lose anyway. But I don't think that's likely. I think it's more likely the Ponder Mist and... Ooh. So I could Songs again. No, I don't want a Songs again. I guess if I cycle here, I might as well keep the cycle party going. Because if I hit Fluctuator, and they're not going to cast Show and Tell, I guess it doesn't matter. Alright, just extra damage. Might as well get it in. Alright, Manifestation. Okay, now we just need them to brick for the entire game. Give me like 2 more draw steps. I think that's reasonable to ask. Land, go. There's a land. Now say go. Yes. Alright, so I can cycle Manifestation. That fuels Songs of the Damned, and I can unearth it if I still want it. So Songs makes 4. This costs 3, so I make 4. And then I think I want to do this now. Oh, they have a counterspell. Flusterstorm. Alright. Even paid mana for it. Alright. I kind of prefer they counter that to the unearth. Attack for 2. In there. I'm going to unearth Vile Manifestation and beat down again. Alright, brick that draw step one more time. Give it to me. Lethal on board. Vile Manifestation, come on. Show me that concession button. Yes! We did it. Vile Manifestation beats Sneak and Show. Okay, so I'm going to turn one of the Fluctuators into the 4th Reaping the Graves, and I'm going to make room for a Living End somewhere. Or Living Death, not Living End. Living Death. I think if you play 1, it's just like something, a big payoff with your Dark Rituals. So I'll find room for it. My updated build will be in the video description, as always, with the lessons learned from the league. 2 and 3 is better than kind of better than I was expecting with this deck. Just shoving a Pauper deck into Legacy. This was not bad. Sideboard needs some work. Tune that for your metagame, of course. But the Ominous Seas, I could see how it would work against a slower deck that just went all in on a ley line. But we were pretty far away from going off the one time I brought it in. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe the deck wants Flusterstorm instead of Mindbreak Trap also, because I do have blue mana. Yeah, I'll play around with that. The final list will be in the video description. Thanks for watching. If you have any ideas for this deck, put them in the comments. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.